What is going on, YouTube? This is The Last Musketeer, and welcome to the finale of the Neural Cloud free-to-play Is It Worth It series. So it's bittersweet to see this one go because I've enjoyed this one quite a lot, and while I probably will focus on key points at some different times in the videos, but for the most part I'm going to go with an overview of what I think about the game in general, because I think it's important to get a lot of different ways across, and I'm trying with each end of series to try to display what I think about the game in different ways. So for this one, I'm going to just have stuff playing in the background and really talk about what I think about the game in its entirety. So the first and most important question that the series is all about: is it worth it for a free-to-play player to try out this game? I think, in my own personal opinion, absolutely. I think the game does a great job of allowing the free-to-play player to stay somewhat competitive, and I don't know if that's because it's still a fairly newer game and there's not a whole lot of content fleshed out overall or not, but I think they do give you plenty of options of keeping up with those higher level spenders. Obviously, when it comes to any bit of spending, they're going to get more out of it than you do, but you have plenty of ways of taking whatever team you like, finding the heroes that you like, and just putting them in a team, working on that team specifically so that you have something to clear the content with, and then from there, it makes farming easier, and going into some of the later content, you can actually expand your roster a bit more. I think there's so many great options. This game does a great job of allowing you to upgrade. Now, as far as the art style, I do really like the art style. The nice 3D model part of it is really cool, and there's honestly a lot to it, because one thing that I usually see in a lot of gacha games is when you're leveling up, especially when it comes to the star leveling system, a lot of times the games don't really change the art style for the character that often. They may change it once or something, but they don't give you a lot of customization options. So other than that, you'll go through skins, something like that. With this one, basically you'll go in, you'll upgrade them, their neural expansion, take them to the next star tier, whether it be half or a full star, and you'll unlock different art styles for them. One of them being a moving one that really has the most pleasing aesthetic for the most part every time. And you do have the skin shop that don't give you extra stats, so if you wanted to remain free to play but also pick up the skins, a lot of people count it in that sense where if you buy where it's just for a skin and use it for nothing else, then you're still in that free to play bracket. So you can do that, because I don't believe it gives you any upgrades. I could be wrong, but as far as I've seen, I've never seen anything with a stat inclusion. So if you do that, you won't have to lose your free to play title if that's something you want to do. So very good options as far as that. I'm glad they don't add extra stats so that everybody has the option to either get them or not get them and still be as strong as they can possibly be. Now, as far as maps, a lot of the regular campaign stages, I think at least through 1 through 5, those chapters are all a little gray, a little dreary. There's not a whole lot of color. They're kind of like in a factory setting, and you'll see a lot of it take place in that. I'm not a big fan of the drained of color style of maps, but I do like these, and this is actually chapter 6. Now, for people that have played before, or maybe that have seen some of the other previous videos in this series, you'll have seen this map before, because this is actually the Divine Heresy maps. So what they did was, after the event was over, they dropped chapter 6, and it is all the maps from Divine Heresy. So it's kind of like recycled content in a way, but you get to re-earn all the rewards other than from the story. So as you can see there, it says done underneath all the locked stories. It's because I've already read them all. I already did them all in the event. I full completed the event. So it was a bit of a surprise seeing that, though they may have addressed that before I hadn't seen it. Hopefully, they kind of separate that content so it doesn't feel like recycled content anymore after the events. Now, I have to say 100% my favorite aspect of this game is the neural expansion part, because the neural fragments are actually so easy to get as a free-to-play player. Anytime that you get a character, you can now unlock them in this little bit called the neural fragment search. So basically, right now I'm working on Chancey. I have all her episodes clear, and those are based on intimacy level, so I'll take her to intimacy 6, which guarantees I can unlock all of those. First clear bonus, you get extra per day, but you get a minimum of 1 per day after you've cleared them all from the content. So you get 10 attempts overall. 6 for one hero, and then you can do 4 for whatever else you want. Probably a secondary hero is the best option for that. But I'll run all 6 with Chancey, get a minimum of 6, and her first upgrade from 3 to 3.5 stars is 60 fragments. So if I ran that for 10 days at a minimum of 1, I would get 60 in 10 days, which means the next one goes up to 70, so you're probably looking at 12 days. You know, that's outside of any other possibilities of grabbing, which you have plenty. So in that way, leveling up heroes, getting them full 5-starred is actually fairly simple and fairly easy as a free-to-play. Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of time. You could probably do 1 to 1.5 per month, maybe 2 if you really put the effort in, because I think honestly, if you're doing enough summons, you're going to have plenty of the dupes to get the actual turn-ins for the neural fragments, as you see in there. So I just leveled her up, went and used all I had available to me at the shop, and now I'm at 48 of 70. Now, if you save them for specific heroes, you can take one up fairly quickly. They do increase in price as you buy them, which is one downside of it, but if you wanted to save most of the fragments for using for the early levels where it costs 5 to 10 as compared to like 20 or 25 later on, you're going to get more out of them overall. And then you can do the rest of the farming in other ways, like through the fragment search that I was talking about. So there's plenty of ways to actually obtain what you do. And not to mention that whenever you upgrade them, you get extra stats, extra levels to your ultimate ability, and new art, because I get tired of looking at the same character skin every single time I go in. But with this, you actually have different versions of it. You have moving ones, the live 2D, the chibi ones, which is really, really cool. So you can put it as your background, and then you got a moving character that talks and moves their mouth with the talking as well, which is really cool. So it's a really nice feature added to the game. So I have plenty of options. If I don't have the money for a skin, or I don't purchase one, I can actually just change out the skins as I see fit, which is really cool. Now, the daily and weeklies are actually pretty easy as well. So sometimes it can feel like a job in some games to finish your dailies, but honestly, in this one, I don't go out of my way at all to do them, and they're done within like 5 or 10 minutes just from me doing my regular content per day. So very easy to do. Weekly is kind of the same way. If you're playing every day during the week, you're probably going to get it done in like 3 to 4 days, maybe 5 at the most, depending on what ones you clear in specifics. But for the most part, just doing your regular content, you basically get them done once again from that. So another good thing for the game, another good reason that I like playing it so much. The training, it varies every day which one gives you the extra drops. Today is the warrior training, but you do this at the highest level that you possibly can, and you get double rewards for them. So every day you're going to have different options for leveling them up. It's going to go through your keys quite a bit, but you get daily extra keys as well, and they do go up fairly quickly, I think. So honestly, you just have plenty of options for farming. It's done a really good job. I think they handle the resource farming for free-to-play really well. Not to mention that as you're playing and as you're leveling up characters, you get these little modules that you can use to upgrade all of this in your specialty training. Now, I waited a while for this because I wanted to talk about this in the final video. So I had cleared all the content without doing like most of the upgrades for this. So you'll upgrade different milestones to unlock the reward boxes for extra sand and extra digicoins, but you also get extra stats for people. So you could get extra block for the guard, you can get debuff resistance, you can get crit, you can get healing effects, you can get every single stat you need to min-max your character through this, and it's just from regular play and leveling them up. Now, it is quite an expansive tree. I think it goes to 150 altogether. No, maybe it was 200. Yeah, I think it's 200 actually. But you earn that over time. Like this is about a month in, and I'm basically completely finished or almost completely finished that. The last ones are going to be a little expensive, but it is what it is on that. Now the algorithms, as you saw me putting on earlier on Chancey, and I'll show them a little bit more later on here, but these are your actual like gear that you put on your heroes. Now, you don't necessarily need these to be able to clear content, but they're going to make life way easier, and they're going to give you a lot more damage and utility. So basically, the daily rotation for these, I don't know the exact rotation, but You can look for the specific ones you need, what you need for your account, or the specific hero you may be working on, and then you can save up your keys and farm a bunch of them. And so what I did was, I basically did that. I had keys that I saved up, and I farmed the stage about 10 times. It's like 30 keys, I think, per run, something like that. But I did it so that I could get some upgrades, some of my heroes. So Florence is one of them I needed. She's one of my medics that actually does a really good buff for my strongest hero, Hatsukiri. So I basically farmed that so I could get the SVMs. So once I get the 3-piece of that, it ups my healing effect a ton. It's about, at the max cap, probably like, I don't know, maybe 40% or something like that. It's really, really strong. Either way, it's going to guarantee that I can keep my heroes alive a little easier. And then I'm building hash rate on the first one because I don't have a lot of unlocks. I can't do a dual set yet because she's not far enough along in the neural expansion aspect of it. But I have extra hash rate because that's what our kit is based off. So make sure when you're doing this that you're paying attention to what the skills actually do so that you can min-max as well as you possibly can. Now, Hatsukiri's one of my maxed out heroes. She's almost 9k. You can borrow support heroes from people that are like max level, that have basically the strongest versions of the character that you can have in the game right now. And theirs are sitting around 94 to 9600 each time I see them. So my Hatsukiri just shortly under 9k, which means I'm almost to where like some of these spenders have their heroes at. So I have a nigh maxed out hero, and I've been spreading my resources quite a lot, building heroes that I get later on so that I skip upgrading one and go to the next. So honestly, if I had wanted to, I could have put more into Hatsukiri and probably got her over the 9k point by this point, but I wanted to spread my team resources around, get them all a little stronger so that clearing content is a bit easier. But once again, it's just another way of, you know, maximizing for a free-to-play player what you're able to accomplish. Now this is called the Advanced Protocol. This is actually, I think, the hardest content that I've ran into in this so far, because there's a lot more thinking, a lot more processing that goes in on this, and it actually requires you to have a little more upgrades into all of your heroes, because it's a rotating hero pool. So my strongest isn't able to actually be in this one. Not to mention that it level caps you at 45 and an expansion of level 4, I believe. So if you have heroes under that, they're not going to be as useful in this, and the whole point of this is trying to get as high of a score as you possibly can. Now I only got 630 because the heroes that I had for this are not that strong, but that got me the first tier, which is 500 quartz sand right away, which I believe is the biggest amount that you get out of it. So just getting the first tier in itself is already really good. But I did a summon. For those of you who hadn't seen a summon before, this is what it looks like. It expands into the 2-star territory, and then the 3 if you pull the 3-star, which these are the highest tier champs. I actually pulled 2 of them, and they're both new, which is really nice. So my collection is at 89% now. And basically what that means is I have 89% of all the dolls that are actually in this game. So I'm essentially nearly maxed out everything that I can get. So Diane was actually the hero that I was pulling the limited banner for, and I had really wanted this one because she has a really, really nice kit, like a penetration. She can hit everything in a line, and potentially, if I can get a hero that can group them all up, she can do insane amounts of damage because she gets extra damage per thing it passes through, basically for allies as well. So it'll be really nice getting her added into my lineup at some point. V is one that I'm not sure about. She probably has her uses, maybe a little more niche, but we'll figure something out as time goes on. Now the main thing is, this is the finale, but I think in general I might still play this game outside of the making the videos. I might make some progression videos as time goes on, maybe some character deep dives if people want to see that. You know, just kind of let me know what you think about that overall, because I do really like this game. It's just finding the time to be able to do every bit of content that I'm doing and work the job. It's just, I run out of time to be able to do stuff. So we'll see what happens. If I feel like I have extra time in the day to do this, or maybe I can play it on my phone in between downtime of other games, I could do that, you know. So it'd be a cool way to maybe add some to this game. So as we get to the end of this video, I just want to say real quick that some of the stuff that I didn't go over in this video, I know I might have skipped over some things. It's because I've, for the most part, talked about them in the other videos. So for anyone that's fully watching the series, it can get a bit annoying hearing the same thing repeated over and over again. So I try to give a brief overview, at least so people that might be first time watching just for the finale can see, you know, what all I think about it. But, you know, I'll reiterate again, just going over the main topics. Gameplay wise, a lot of fun. The strategy aspect is really good in this game. The art is very cool. There's got a lot of different variations for skins, and ones that are possible for you to get for basically free. Leveling up your heroes, very simple, very easy for a free-to-play. It just may take a little bit longer to do that, but honestly, it's really not that hard to do. Early on, you might struggle to get a little bit of the experience and stuff that you can get to level up the heroes, but as time goes on, you'll start to see that you're stockpiling it more and more, unless you're just going out of your way to level up like every hero. The events so far have been really good. This one actually gave you 30 free shards for Diane, so once I pulled her, I already had 30 towards the next expansion. The music's good, the story's alright, and it gets better, I think, as time goes on, but I still think this game has so many things it can add to it and expand on, so it's going to be something to look forward to in the future. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me. This has been The Last Musketeer, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.